Welcome to Hucknall in Nottingham for the usual weekly hockey chat with me, John O'Bullard. Hope you are all well, and I hope you are having a good Tuesday evening so far. If those watching could tweet this out or share the link so we can get as many people in here as possible, that would be fantastic. So we can get the discussion going. If you've got any other questions to add, in addition to the ones that I've already received, please do pop them in the chat box, which should be to the right-hand side. So we will get started very, very soon. Just wait for a few more people to come in. And it's a good time to remind you that the latest edition of Fresh Cut magazine is now out. So get over to freshcutmag.co.uk and order your copy, or even better, do an annual subscription, 4 issues a year for £24. Some great features in this quarter's edition, including a feature-length interview with Liam Kirk. And Coventry Blaze fans, there's also an interview with CJ Mott. For Giants fans, there's a look back at their game against the Boston Bruins from 2010. So plenty to go at. So get along to Fresh Cut magazine and order your copy now. Okay, we're going to start the chat in earnest, and it will be no surprise that we will be starting with the DOPS announcement from earlier today, after a few shenanigans at the end of the Coventry Blaze versus Guildford Flames game that took place on Sunday night. A bit of handbags, to say the least, at the final whistle, and mainly down to the Guildford netminder having doing a few celebrations in the vicinity of the Coventry Blaze players. There's been quite a few DOPS announcements, so I'll just see if I can bring them up here so we can go through them. So we have Kevin Linderskog, the Guildford netminder, was given a fine for his actions and incitement and disrespectful actions. Jake Bolton of the Guildford Flames was given a 2-game suspension for a cross-check into the face of Halbert of the Coventry Blaze. David Broll of the Blaze was given a 4-game suspension, which included getting involved in altercations, and he also seemed to elbow an official, which isn't too great from the footage. And then David Clements of the Blaze was also given a 2-game suspension for getting involved in an altercation after the whistle. Head coach Danny Stewart of the Coventry Blaze has been given a fine as well. So a lot to go through there. Couple of questions on that one. First, a comment from Marco Doherty, who is there. How it went. One of the men in sport will never move up. Obviously, I had not seen highlights from or was aware that anything was happening on Saturday night. So I can't really comment on that. I can only really comment on what I've seen, which is from the DOPS video. And Andrew Turnbull also asked, was David Broll right in his actions against Guildford? And Andrew, who did post his own opinions on that, where he says, Broll did what any good teammate should do, stuck up for his team. 71 penalty minutes and a 4-game ban was worth showing you, or the team won't be messed with. P.S. The goalie had it coming to him for those celebrations. Right, I think the Guildford goalie was a bit over the top, a little bit over the top, to say the least. And I think incitement is fair enough, and I think a fine is fair enough. But he didn't hit anybody, and so in that respect, I think a fine is fair enough. For Broll, I think his suspension would have been a lot less had he not struggled out of the clutches of an official and sort of elbowed him on the way, which is not a good look. Not a good look at all. So I think that's probably why he's got a 4-game ban. Clements, I think, is fair enough. He does seem to go a bit crazy at the end. And the J bottom one, yeah, absolutely, it's a horrible cross check into the face. So I think of anything, I think he's probably lucky to get away with just 2 games for that, because he just it is a quite a hard cross check straight into the face of Halbert. So in that regards, and having seen the video and seen it explained, I think fair enough. I do think that obviously I can sort of assess that against older time hockey from say 20 years ago, and I think if DOPS had been around then, using the sort of parameters that they have now, there'd have been a lot of games with players thrown out, and there'd have been a lot of games with a lot of players getting banned every week. Obviously, the game isn't like that anymore, for better or worse. So these sort of incidents are rare, and I think that's why there is always an outcry when these sort of things happen now, because they are just so rare. From the DOPS announcement, which I think was pretty comprehensive, I think most of the suspensions are fair enough. I think Broll will look back at that, and I think if he hadn't sort of manhandled the official, then I think he would have got far less than what he did. I think 4 games is fair enough for him. In fact, I think all the suspensions are fair enough. Bolton could have probably got a bit more, I think, for the cross check, but apart from that, he's fine. But these things don't happen too much, and then it's sort of, I mean, going back to Mark's point about the refereeing and, will the referees be held accountable for their point in this? I'm going to move on to the next question, which is by Craig Bond, but it is around a similar theme. He says, "I have a question the refs. I'm guessing there are new rules all the time, but they seem to not know what they are doing, miscalling penalties and having to talk to each other all the time. When are we going to get this sorted? It's shocking." Now, I think that's a bit unfair on officials, to be perfectly honest, Craig, because they know the rules far better than most fans in the stands. I think most people would accept that. I made a point of having the latest rule book downloaded on my mobile devices and my tablet every season when the season starts, just so I can refer to it if I need to quickly. And I find for me that has been a great education, because sometimes when I look and I see some calls and wonder what they are, I can just quickly refer to that and just see if it was correct. And more often than not, I've found the official has been right. Also, what you've got to remember is when you're watching a game, when you're watching your team, you are heavily invested in your team, and there is going to be some natural bias towards your team. We've all done it. I've done it. I'm guilty of it all the time, where I will shout and go, "What was that for?" What you got to remember is the official knows the rules better. The official is closer because they are on the ice. But naturally, bias is going to take over, and you're going to say that's rubbish. Or something bad happens, and I'll take Guildford Coventry as the example here. We get the chance to watch it over and over again on video. We get to watch these incidents over and over again. So we can make up our mind, having watched it several times. What you got to remember is the official gets one chance to see an incident. And to go to your point, Craig, where you say they're always getting together to talk to each other, well, yeah, so they should as well, in my opinion, because they're using all their available eyes on the ice to make a decision. I think that's absolutely the right thing to do. One thing that I don't think they make enough use of, and I know it's not used for this, but I think it should be, is the TV replays. Every rink now has the ability to show footage from the game. Now, I know it's only generally used for goal line technology, goalie interference, that sort of thing at the moment. But I think if there is something that could be deemed a bad check, or something where a player could be thrown out, or a check to the head, etc., I think that the referees should be given the help and should be allowed to review that on the night right away, just as they would if there was a review in a goal, etc. Prime example, on Sunday, Jonas Emmerdahl of Fife got a 5 plus game for checking from behind in the game against the Steelers. On the 5-minute power play, Steelers subsequently went from 2-1 ahead to 4-1 ahead and essentially put the game to bed. I've watched the footage of that. There is no way on earth that is a 5+ game penalty. No chance. 2 minutes for boarding, yeah. 5+ game, no way. And anybody who's seen the highlights, so I'm sure there's be Steelers fans disagreeing with me, but then I just go back to what I said about the bias. That should never have been a 5+ game penalty. Even my wife, who is a hardcore Steelers fan, said that was harsh. But don't forget, the refs only got one chance to see that in real time, and I can see why they thought it was what it was. You watch the replay, it's not that bad. It's a 2-minute boarding, if that. So therefore, I think that the TV replay should be made available to officials in order for them to review incidents like that, because in that case between Sheffield and Fife, it had a massive effect on the game because Steelers went to score twice on the power play, which essentially put the game out of reach. So it was a massive decision in the game, and for me, the officials got that one wrong. But I think if they had the opportunity to have a look at it again, they'd probably change their decision. That's my opinion on it. And I think in big decisions like that, maybe they should have another look, because like I said, they get one look, one opportunity to look at it in real time at real speed. So they've got to use all their colleagues on the ice. So there's 2 referees, don't forget, two linesmen as well. So yeah, I can see that's why they're having discussions. And there has been a brand new rule book this season as well, which is going to take some getting used to. At the end of the day, it comes down to the governing bodies, Ice Hockey UK, the EIHA, and the Elite League to maybe put some more investment into officials and to official training. I think there was a camp before the season, but that's all there's been. There needs to be regular camps, then so that the officials can share learnings with each other. So I used to get quite down on referees in the past. I don't anymore, really, because it's a job I certainly wouldn't like to do. And I think they do the best job that they can with the tools that they are given. But I think there are quick wins and easy tools that they could be given, such as the TV replays, to make their job easier. That is the way I see it. If you agree, disagree, use the comment box on the right hand side, and we will discuss it some more. Another referee one. This comes from the excellent Badly Drawn EIHO. I think this first question he sent into this, but it's great to have Badly Drawn EIHL sent in the question. If you want to laugh and you want to smile and see some terrible drawings of hockey players and people around hockey, give him a follow on Twitter at Badly Drawn EIHL. It's a great account to follow, so go and follow him. It's such good fun. But he says, in my personal opinion, refs seem to step in early on fights. Take the Springer Lewis one on Sunday. Then things aren't sorted and players get frustrated and take matters into their own hands. There was a reply to this from hockey fan 654321, who I have a question from a little later on. And let me just see if I can find it, because it was quite a while ago. Here we go. He says, apparently referees are now being instructed to stop fights when a player's helmet comes off. That's not something I've heard, but I can totally understand it if that's the case. Having played hockey myself, only at recreation level, a couple of times I fell with my helmet on and smashed the back of my head on the ice with the helmet, so I was fine. But can you imagine if you fell to the ice after a fight and you hit the ice with the back of your head with no protection there? It would probably end very, very badly. So if that is the new instruction as to what Hockey Fan 654321 refers to, I can sort of understand why they're stepping in. I know that there was a rule brought in where they weren't allowed to remove their helmets for a fight anymore. If they did, they got an extra penalty if you willingly removed your helmet. So, yeah, it's a difficult one, but I think the thing is, in this day and age where there's a lot of litigation about, there's a lot of health and safety, and you have to think about the health and well-being of the players that play. It probably makes sense that they do step in if the helmet is missing, because if like say, if somebody slips or somebody goes back and smashes their head, it could be a very bad injury. And I think that's probably why they're stopping in. Certainly what Hockey Fan 654321 says makes a lot of sense. It's not something I've heard, so I'll make a few more investigations into that and have and see what I can find out. Hockey Fan 2006 in the comments says, what are your thoughts on the NIHL this year? I've only been paying a passing interest. I'm not seeing any games, but obviously, from a question we had last week, I'm also looking at the two-way players, the players like Morgan Clark, Pinzo, and Jack Hopkins, who are at Peterborough and Telford respectively, both on two ways with the Panthers, of course. Interested in Leeds as well, because Dave Whistle, after many years away from these shores, has come back to coach Leeds and has put together what looks a very competitive. They are suffering with injuries at the moment and lost their first game at the weekend. And so they're looking quite strong, and obviously they're looking to build their fan base up, which makes sense. And also they've gone with no imports so far, which is an interesting move in a league where you are allowed imports. So fair play to Dave Whistle for going with an all British lineup. I think the National League is all the more poorer for not having Hull there. However, a lot of their top players have gone to Sheffield, the likes of Jason Hewitt, who's still banging them away and doing a great job for them. So, it's something I keep an eye on, but I'm not fully invested in it as I am with the IHL. But it's something I do pay attention from with regards to stats and results, but I don't really see any games in the National League. But from the looks of it so far, it looks like it's going to be quite competitive, and players the likes of Bailey Harewood, who is on the two-way with Cardiff and the Bees, he's doing very, very well. So yes, National League. Anthony, well popped up. If you do want more on the National League, then Anthony Russell, of course, has the What's Happening stream on Twitter, 8 p.m. on a Wednesday. So do join him for that, for all National League and IHL 1 and 2 discussion. It's well worth a watch, 8 p.m. every Wednesday. So do join Anthony for that. Next question. Next one does come from Hockey Fan 654321. And he says, do you think it's unprofessional when elite league clubs respond on social media with petty remarks, or is it good for rivalry? On Sunday, the Steelers responded to Josh Dixon's pictures with try winning a league title once in a while. You don't see teams in other sports doing this. What are my thoughts? I did see this at the weekend, and to be honest, I laughed a bit. So Josh Dixon photo, who is a Panthers fan, took some pictures of the game on Saturday between the Panthers and the Steelers. Put 4 of his pictures on Twitter and put, there is nothing better than beating Steelers hockey on a Saturday night. So tag Steelers in. To which the Steelers official Twitter account replied, try winning a league title once in a while. That's a nice feeling. Personally, I think it's hilarious. It really is hilarious, because what that shows is, one, our biggest rivals are utterly rattled that we beat them in a meaningless Challenge Cup game. 2, we're living rent-free in their heads and have been for a long while because they keep going on about this. And 3, they're flapping. They're flapping because we beat them. Long may it continue, is my opinion. If they are so rattled that they are replying to a fan with something that has absolutely no basis and no relevance to that evening's game, get on with it, because it's showing them up. It's showing them up and making them look ridiculous, frankly. and I'm all for that. So I saw it, I just laughed. I just thought it was really funny. Anthony says, as someone who's helped out with an official account, you can have a little poke but not go OTT. Yeah, I agree. And the thing is, I don't think you would see that from the official account of any other elite league club. So then again, given who does the Steelers bits and pieces, so Bush League, you can see the Kangaroos. I don't think Simsy does their Twitter anymore, though. I could be wrong. And let's face it, that reply is straight out of the Simsy playbook, but I don't think he does it. But like I say, I could be completely wrong about that one. But I don't know. What do you think? What does anybody else watching think? Just put it in the comments. Is that an appropriate response, or what do you think? Next question comes from Johnny Hill, who's a Cardiff fan, I believe. He says, have Panthers providing a webcast entered the attendance numbers at games? No, nobody knew there was going to be a webcast until the pre-season game. They haven't said it's a regular thing, and I think the Manchester Challenge Cup game wasn't covered on the webcast. So essentially, it's not every game, but it does appear to be most games. But the attendance is down anyway. I mean, that's pretty obvious from looking around me every time I go. There's a lot of season ticket holders who have not renewed. I think actually, I hope Neil Black has realised that it's another revenue stream, because I think most people who buy webcasts are people who were not going to buy a ticket and go anyway. So that will be like your away fans, people who probably can't go. And obviously with COVID still about, there's still a lot of people who are uncomfortable about being in indoor spaces with lots of people. So therefore, they might be buying a webcast. And I know that there's arguments saying that, well, £15 for a webcast and you could have 4 people watching it. That's 4 tickets you're missing out on. Well, is it if those 4 people were never going to buy a ticket anyway? So the way I see it is a webcast it's £15 revenue that you probably wouldn't have otherwise got is the way I see webcasts. And I think that's the forward-thinking way of looking at it. So one, I'm glad Panthers are providing a webcast. I don't think it has dented the attendance, because I think the people who are watching the webcast wouldn't have turned up anyway, is the way I see it. But I would love to do a bit of research into that and find out if that is actually the case. Would people rather watch a webcast than go to the game? Luke Stratford, I watch from Canada, making money off somebody who can't physically buy a ticket. 15 quid more than they would have got from me had they not offered. Exactly. And yeah, Luke, I know you've watched these for the past couple of seasons. I know you live out in Canada, so it must be great for you to be able to watch the Panthers every week now, including at home and not just the away games, because I know you used to buy the away games as well. So yeah, so there's a prime example. 15 quid from somebody who lives in Canada. Think of all the players' families as well who probably want to watch. They'll be able to buy and watch. That's money that they wouldn't normally get. I've always seen webcast as another revenue stream. I remember when Hull started doing theirs, and they was able to bring in another import player because they hadn't budgeted for it. It was something they brought in. It created that extra revenue for them, and they was able to bring in another player because of that. So it obviously has its advantages. I think webcasts are a good thing. I don't think they dent attendances, but obviously I've not done any sort of detailed research into that. But I think if there was detailed research, I think you find that it wouldn't have dented the attendance anyway, because I think people who watch webcasts wouldn't necessarily have gone to that game. Is the way I look at it. Greg Hewish, interesting question, this one. He says, do you think there's been a reduction in quality this year with the reduction of game day rosters? Playing more minutes per game leading to tiredness? I personally think there has been. I really had a good think about this because it's such a great question, and I've not really had the sort of time to really sort of delve deep into this, but I will sort of have a go. And One of these I did early season or before the season started. I said I think the reduction to game day rosters of 19 is ridiculous because you can't have 4 lines, or you can have 4 lines and then you have to have 5 D-men, or if you have 5 lines, someone's got double shift. I think it was a backward step. Having said that, I think the reduction in quality so far that you're seeing, Greg, may have something to do with the Challenge Cup because of the farcical way that the group stage has been set up, with 8 teams qualifying from 9. And if you look at the group stages, I think 6 teams have already qualified with loads of games already to play. If you look at the group that Panthers are in, Panthers, Steelers and Storm, Panthers and Steelers already qualified. And they both got 4 games to play. Half the games to play already qualified. What's the point of those extra 4 games, apart from trying to avoid injury? So the fans are getting shortchanged because can you really see teams going all out in those remaining games? And also, Manchester, who haven't got a point so far, does that give them an opportunity? So is that unfair on the likes of Fife and Coventry, who's still fighting for that extra place? Yeah, there's a lot to dig in there. I haven't seen any Challenge Cup games because I refuse to pay for a ticket to go and watch it, which is sort of my mini protest at the fact that the group stages are utterly farcical. So I'm not going to pay my money over and above my season ticket to go and watch those games. I've got to say the league games that I've watched this season I've thoroughly enjoyed. Even the defeat against Coventry, it was a hard-fought game. And I'm not really seeing the tiredness that you allude to there, Greg. I mean, I know you're a Cardiff fan, and I know you watch the webcasts and stuff, so maybe it's something you've seen different. I did watch some of the game on Premier Sports on Sunday. I did think at times the Cardiff-Manchester game, it was a little slow in parts, is my honest opinion. But what was quite entertaining, quite a hard-fought game, but I thought the pace was a little off at times, is the way I would say about that one. But with regards to Panthers games, the league games I've seen, thoroughly enjoyed so far. So it's something I'm not seeing, but I think maybe as we play a few more games and the season builds up, probably towards Christmas, and when there's sort of some fixture pile-ups, then maybe it'd be good to revisit that question again, to be honest. And I do wonder how Glasgow are going to go on, especially as their first 2 games have now been cancelled, and they will be playing a lot of catch up. So be interested to see what happens there. Final question comes from Eric Holland, and he says, how do we get these young under-20 lads up to Elite League and then GB senior standards? So the Great Britain under-20 squad was announced this week. So Martin Grubb announcing his squad for the tournament in Romania, which takes place in December. So a good squad, a 22-man squad. I tweeted out at the time, I think there's a lot of talent in there. Of the team, there are, I think, 9 who currently play their hockey in North America. There are only 4 players who have actually got Great Britain experience at either under 18 or under 20 level. Nobody's fault. Obviously, there's been no tournaments because of COVID. So that's probably a reason why. So we've got Lucas Bryan, the netminder, who has played under 18. Liam Stenton, well known to Glasgow and Panthers fans, also playing great for the Solway Sharks at the moment. He's played at under 18 and under 20 level. Bradley Bowring of the Peterborough Phantoms has played at under 18 level, and then Alex Graham of the Sheffield Steelers and Sheffield Steel Dogs has also played under 18 and under 20. I think Liam Stenton is a very good candidate for captain of that squad with his experience. the fact he was in that Panthers Elite Series squad, winning squad, and has had such a good start with the Solway Sharks this season. He will also be on a two-way contract with the Glasgow Clan, so it's great to see him continue with his Elite League experience as well, which is very much what he needs to continue to improve, and he has improved so much. There's a lot of two-way players in there. I think it's a really, really good squad. To answer the question, though, that Eric poses is how do we get them up to Elite League and Great Britain senior standard? And Anthony says it, give them a chance, play them. And that's absolutely the right way of doing it. You've only got to look at Josh Waller. He's a perfect example of this. So Josh Waller has played at Guildford, had played in North America as well before he went to Guildford. Now he's playing at Cardiff. This is Josh Waller this season. 6 games in the Champions Hockey League, 2 goals and 1 assist. 4 games in the Cup, just the 1 assist. But in the league, 5 games, 2 goals, 3 assists. After 15 games, 4 goals and 5 assists. Jared Skolday, the Cardiff head coach, has given him his chance, and he's took it with both hands, and he's playing brilliantly. He scored a superb goal in the live Premier Sports game on Sunday on a short-handed goal on the breakaway. So there's your example. If you give these players the chance, then you're going to know if they've got it or not, but they need to be given the chance. I was delighted to see Jack Hopkins called up by Panthers and given a few shifts on Saturday. Brilliant. That's what he needs. I mean, he's only a 17-year-old lad. He is in the squad as well, and rightly so. And they need to be given the opportunities. Bailey Harewood in the squad, who I mentioned earlier, has been absolutely on fire for the Bees. And he's also on a two-way with the Cardiff Devils as well. They need to be given opportunities. These players do great at National League level, but they need to be given the opportunities by their Elite League clubs. The other thing as well is you've got 9 players here who have had experience in North America, currently playing in North America. So Lucas Bryant is at Arcadia University, NCAA 3. And then there's also Liam Steele, the defenseman, who originally from Guildford. He's playing at Stansted College varsity in Canada, but next season will be going to the full NCAA with Cornell University. So a lot of quality in that squad. But I think a lot of those players who are currently playing in North America are probably looking to sort of progress in their system. Now, if some of them don't make it, are they primed to come back to Britain and play in the Elite League? You would think so from that experience, but like I say, they need to be given the chance. Alex Graham, we all know how good he is. Unfortunately, didn't make it in the OHL with Niagara, which is a real shame, but he's come back. He's got ice time with the Sheffield Steelers and scored, and he's on fire for the Sheffield Steel Dogs at the National League level. He's incredible. But they need to be given chances at Elite League level to prove that they can do it. So there's a lot of talent, but the only way that they will be given the opportunity, how do we get them up to standard, is play them at that level and see if they can handle it. Would Liam Kirk be where he is now if he had to be given that opportunity with the Steelers? And that's obviously that you can debate that till the cows come home, but he was given the opportunity to play with the Steelers, and now he's in the AHL. So that's the way you've got to start looking at it. Ollie Endicott is a role player for Swindon, plays like his dad, skates like his dad, he's grinding, great. Another one I was delighted to see in there is Zayn Mckenzie, who's currently at Milton Keynes Lightning. He's come back after 2 seasons playing in Canada. I previously saw him play for Nottingham Juniors, and he was one of my ones to watch. For those that don't know, on the Cat's Whiskers website, I did a blog every year after the sort of national finals and conference finals, picking out junior players who I think had the ability to make it. He was one I picked out in one of my blogs, so I'm delighted to see him in the GB under-20s squad. Another player with loads of grit, really does all the dirty jobs well, or certainly used to when I last saw him. So yeah, really happy that Zayn Mckenzie's made that squad as well. But good luck to them. It looks a really good quality squad. Division 2A, I think they're second favourites behind Italy, I believe. May have that wrong, but I think they are second seeds rather than top seeds. But I really, really hope that they go and get the gold medal and get promotion, because I like the look of that squad. Good balance in there. Also in there, Rhodes Mitchell King, brother of Austin Mitchell King. He's another one playing out in the USA at the minute. He's in his third season over in America. And I know his dad watches these from time to time. So some real good quality. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they do in Romania. Hopefully there'll be some sort of coverage for it, but no idea yet. We shall see. Okay, that is all I've got. 35 minutes we've been going for. So if anybody has any further questions, just pop them in. Obviously, a big game coming up on Friday on Premier Sports. I will be at. It's the Panthers taking on the Giants. So a big game on Premier Sports, live Elite League coverage. So Friday night from 7 o'clock on Premier Sports. So I very much look forward to that one. And then another great game for the Panthers this weekend away to Cardiff. I think this weekend will tell us a lot about this Panthers team. So we will see how they do. If they can come away with 2 wins from this weekend, I think that is a very, very, very good sign for the Nottingham Panthers. But we shall see what happens this weekend. No other questions coming in, so I think we'll leave it there as we've been going 36 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me as ever. It's a pleasure to have your company every week. I'll be back again hopefully next week, all being well. So keep an eye out. If you want to subscribe, please do subscribe to the channel. Press the notification bell, and then you will know whenever a video is on or whenever I go live. Usually on a Tuesday night, but that can change depending on circumstances. But I'll try and keep it consistent at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday night. But until next time, thank you so much for joining, and I will speak to you again next week. Everybody take care and see you again soon. Bye-bye.